we are joined again with more guests. On this occasion, it's a welcome to Carol Hurst, who's the Arts Development Officer, somebody who everybody in the brass band world knows, does great work not only for Bolsover District Council here, but for all sorts of other different people, help and advice. So she's the person to go to if you want success. And the other person who's on the settee is Daniel Swain, who is the Chief Executive of Bolsover and North East Derbyshire District Council. I hope I got that correctly. There we are.
It's a very long title.
It is. And this time last year, it was his first weekend in the job when he came along, and it was a great success. So after then, everything must have gone downhill or uphill, as in, until you come back to this part of it. It's another great success for this weekend.
It is. And last time round, we were close on 3,000 people watching it worldwide. And I've just been told that we've doubled that already. So it's absolutely fantastic.
How important is it for as a chief executive to see community events and bands from different communities, not just in this area but outside, coming in here and sharing experience, making music and having a great time and a great atmosphere?
But it's very important, because what you've got to remember is these are the kinds of things that councils have stopped doing. Many councils have stopped doing because they've not got the funding. And this is really an example of how, working with our partners, we can pull together so much. I mean, you've got 45 bands, 2,000 musicians coming from right across the country, and it puts Bolsover on the map. And it's actually part of our heritage as well, because brass bands and the former pits link very nicely to Bolsover's history. So it really is fantastic, and to get 6,000 people watching it, streaming it all over the world, really does put us on the map.
As I say, when you look about all over the world, brass banding is all over the world. We know that because we're very fortunate to do that part. But when you hear that, as I say, we've had somebody, Carl Ball, who plays for the Atlantic Brass Band, and he's just got in contact to say, just reminded the rest of the band to watch. It's also great to have live stream to see other bands. So you've got somebody on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, logging in, making sure that he's seen the action, brass band action from here. So that connection goes out all over the world. So you must be heartened by that.
Yeah, it's fantastic because it gets us noticed. I mean, Bolsover is a fantastic place. It's got so much to offer. And this is an example of what we can do and how we can pull things together. It's fair to say the area has faced challenges over the years, but this is really an example of how we can bring the community together, and how Carol's team, because there's not many of us, we're quite a small authority really, but it just goes to show what we can do, and it gets us internationally recognised.
And Carol as well, you organise. You've got a team of great volunteers here and helpers. People from other bands have come in as well, and people who've been here over the last couple of years coming back to help out. But then you've also linked in with the professional help. You've got micro video with the people who are actually doing the broadcast. How long does it take you to get that team together and plan everything? I know I've had the phone calls, so we know what the planning is. It's a lot of hard work that goes into an event like this.
We start planning for next week. So it takes us all year to get the team ready and look at what we've done and how we can improve next year, on this year. So we start the planning straight away for the next event. So.
It's been good that you said last year it was the live broadcast of the one section. Now we've got the championship in the first section. The rest of the sections, the second, third and the fourth, the unregistered, all of the bands have taken part. They're going to have their programmes recorded, and they'll be broadcast with the First Arts organisation website. So every band that comes here has got something. There's a legacy of what they've actually done with their performance. So that's must be one of the attractions.
It must be. Last year we had, I think, from YouTube, over 10,000 hits in the first month after the broadcast. So that was an excellent way of spreading the word, and that's why we decided to improve the offer this year.
I'm going to go back to the two gents that we talked earlier. One of the first things we said this morning, which was about 8 hours ago now, but one of the first things we said is great that you have an event like this, which is supported by council. A difficult time for councils when it comes to funding, but they see the benefit in investing money in music and investing money in brass bands in particular.
Yeah, and it's the social element of it here as well, isn't it? I mean, you walk outside, you've got the contest being conveyed to people on big screens. There's a family atmosphere. We've said this every year, and it seems to improve year on year, that there's a real family atmosphere about the contest. People stand around, they socialise, they're having a drink, they're chatting, but they're watching the music at the same time. So it's not just a contest, it's a social event, and I think that's what makes this very different to a lot of other contests that we go to.
It's a matter of priorities as well for the council, isn't it? It's great that a council has decided to support an event like this to this extent, to allow everybody in the world to watch it. And it ties in, we've got the variation in how various district councils across the UK are in things like music education. Some seem to think it's just an expendable asset.
Soft
You just-
option to
yeah,
get
it's an
rid
easy
of,
thing to get rid of, but isn't it fantastic that in this day and age that we've got somewhere like Bolsover who are so keen to project what's going on here in this part of the world to the whole world. I think it's something that really should be congratulated for.
I think it would just be great to think that other councils would follow the example, really. So it's down to us to fly the flag, isn't it, really?
Well, congratulations for that, gentlemen. There we are. There must be the best chief executive in British history. Every time he comes here, he comes to a success story. So there we are. All the people, everybody out in the district now must be thinking that's fantastic. I'd attest a little bit of your knowledge because the next band who's actually going to be on is Haverhill Silver, who have come up from London and the Southern Counties area, if I'm right, to come up here. So it's great that we've attracted a band there. They started their programme with Liberty Fanfare by John Williams, followed on by Concerto for Trumpet, Harry James, arranged by Howard Snell, and the trumpet soloist is Tim Pannell. Tea for Two by Vincent Youmans, arranged again by Howard Snell. You Are the Sunshine of My Life, the great Stevie Wonder hit, and finishing off with An American Tale by Dan Price. So we've had a bit of Americana beforehand, we're going to have a bit of Americana afterwards. I'm going to test the knowledge of the two gentlemen here. Who was Harry James married to? And it wasn't Mrs. James, don't tell me that.
I was going to say that.
It was an actress, wasn't it?
Oh,
it was an actress.
You get it there. Any
No
idea,
idea,
Carol?
no idea.
Chief exec?
No.
He was married to the great Betty Grable.
Betty Grable.
The one with the most gorgeous pair of legs you've ever seen in your life. She always appeared. My dad told me this anyway. Right? She always appeared on the side of B-52 bombers by all accounts during the war. But the one thing you must know about Harry James, he was a bit of a lad. He had some appetites which were, shouldn't say for a family show in, but he actually lost $24 million when $1 million was worth $1 million, either on betting on horses or on blackjack in his life. That's a man who knows how to have a good time. So there we are. So, plus I understand he only had one lung as well, so he was brilliant. So that's the great Harry James. And finally for Tea for Two, which was one of the pieces that we talked earlier, Howard Snell brought to brass band. That was a piece that would have been forgotten in time. And all of a sudden they came back.
Well, it was a little arrangement by Shostakovich, wasn't it? Shostakovich had taken that arrangement
And
originally.
did it in something else.
So it was an arrangement by Shostakovich, which was then rearranged for brass band by Howard Snell. And I think Howard Snell had discovered it in his years as an orchestral trumpet player and remembered it and used it again later. So it was a double arrangement essentially.
Well, I'm going to test on this one. Shostakovich, it was actually played to him by a fellow composer who bet him 100 rubles that he couldn't rewrite it perfectly within an hour. And in 45 minutes he turned around and had it written out on the piano pad and put on the score. There's a man who's clever. You know, you don't get them out there. Anyway, we're going to go back to the hall there where the next band is going. So there's enough of Harry James and Tea for Two, and we're going to go back and join Simone Rebello back in the hall where band number 4 will be taken to the stage in a few moments' time.